What is up, rockers of the Rock Nation? This is your fellow rocker here, ex-Rocker Max, and I am back with more, well, not more, but another, for once, a review video for once. And since The Walking Dead came back, and I just watched it about like the 2:15 showing instead of the 9 o'clock showing, and because I don't want to deal with that Sal stuff, to be honest. Why I didn't. I could just watch Walking Dead and Talking Dead back to back. But anyway, I'm here with Walking Dead, Episode 9. Season 5, Episode 9, What Happened and What's Going On, which is basically the mid-season premiere, basically. Not the mid-season premiere, I want to say. Just because. And this episode, emotional and mind-fuckable, if that makes any sense at all to you guys. Because I don't even know, to be honest. It's just... for you guys who didn't see, which I doubt most people probably has seen this video, it contains spoilers, but that's hence why I'm wearing my beanie for, well, Tyrese, as we all know, but I get more on that later. It's just, honestly, the sad thing is, it really had me crying. That's the funny, well, not necessarily crying, just, I want to say how to word this. It didn't necessarily have me crying, it just had me... It's weird. It's weird because I was watching Walking Dead and Talking Dead, I think is what I said. I don't know. And Chris Hardwick, he gets, as he puts it, he's not connected directly to the show, but he is in like third person. I get like a third person type connected. And he's right when he says you kind of get when he said that he gets connected to characters. And like I said, I watched Walking Dead like halfway through season 2. When I started watching, because I had never heard the show at all, season 1, but I have watched all the seasons, and it's just, I don't know, you're just sitting here, and you get connected to the characters, and we lost Bob, we lost Beth, and now Tyrese. We don't need to lose any more goddamn people. Simple as that. But this episode in general, it's hard for me to talk about it because it's very, due to the circumstances, it's very Tyrese heavy. I'll get more on Tyrese later, but just skip him for now. No offense to him. One of my favorite characters. Well, correction, that group of people is based on my favorite characters. I can't pick them. But you kind of wonder, though, with everybody and how they're working with each other and how they're feeling after, of course, Bob, Beth, and now Tyrese, mostly at the moment before Tyrese dies, Bob and Beth, because Maggie, we see her crying, there was a funeral, of course we don't know whose funeral that was, but Maggie, you see how she is, not really how she is, but you don't really see how, you see her have a breakdown, that's a good way of putting it, but you don't know if they were Bob or Beth, and 10 out of 10 times, I'm assuming that it's Beth she's having the breakdown over, because it's just, I don't even know. As the season goes on, I kind of want to see how Maggie deals with Beth, and right now, because after watching The Talking Dead, it's supposedly between the time of Beth and the time of this episode, about 17 days. So, presumably, she should be not be in the grieving period anymore, but 17 days in this post-apocalyptic world, yeah, I can see why she would still be grieving over Beth. But in your head, and as you're seeing her crying, you kind of wonder how she's dealing with it. And you really do. And Noah, how Noah's basically how eventually has his breakdown, but knowing that his family and how the people he knew was gone, which of course is in Richmond, Virginia. So that's a long way from Georgia. Tell you that much. Actually, I wonder, travel about 500 miles, I think. So there you go. But it's just you're sitting there, and you're just like, what the hell? No offense to Noah. I like Noah as a character-wise. That's a simple way to put it. But it's just he's people say he's bad luck for the group, but he's not really bad luck for the group at all. But you sitting here and you're thinking, as same way with Maggie, after him finding out what happened to his family, mostly the people who knew him, but mostly his family, his mom, his brothers, his twin brother, I'm assuming. Well, not his twin brother, but his one of at least, actually both of his twin brothers. You sort of wonder how now he's sort of taking it in a nutshell after Tyrese and how he's going to start reacting to it. But I will say this with Noah, in a way, and I say this specifically in a way from what I could tell, that as Chad, which I believe that's his name, that played Tyrese on Talking Dead, it was a way for he didn't know who was going out, but in a way it was Tyrese to pass on the baton or the torch to the younger generation. And to me, it seemed like with that, him saying that, and from what I've seen, from what I watched in the show, to me it seemed like Tyrese was acting as a father figure to Noah. And no, I can respect that. Because Tyrese is trying to help him out, keep his calm, his emotional rage built up after Beth. And I think everybody wants to see how the relationship between Noah and Beth would go, but sadly, it won't happen. But it's just with Tyrese being heavy and stuff like that, you just wonder. But I'm skipping over Tyrese stuff for now, and I'll go to the other part I want to say. It's just, here we see Glenn and Rick talking for the most part, and it's just, you really wonder how they're acting, because Glenn, to tell us, kind of went to a darker place now. Rick is trying to do what he's doing for the group, because you could tell that he wanted to leave as soon as he saw the walkers and stuff like that, but of course it didn't happen. I can understand them wanting to look for supplies, stuff like that, though, too, so you know. And here we have Michonne being extra careful, which I can understand why she's being extra careful. And basically, she's tired of being out in the world, no place to go, nowhere, you know what I'm saying? But she thinks Washington has a chance of surviving. And now, if you want my opinion on Washington, I kind of, how they say everybody, how in the first season or second season, I forget when this was, but when they said everybody was infected with the zombie or walker or biter or whatever virus you want to call it, kind of makes you wonder if the government, well, Washington, and so I'm assuming talking about DC since how close they are to DC, which I'm Virginia, so yeah. I'm assuming, yeah, that's close. Okay, I'm not stupid. I was trying to think. But you wonder if, for some reason or another, they didn't have something to do with this virus that everybody's supposedly affected with. I just wonder. That's just something saying there. And that's something to think about, too. But then here we have Glenn, Rick, and of course Michonne rescuing Noah. And I'm assuming Michonne's katana's blade broke. Well, it looked like. Maybe it was just me. Maybe something else broke. I don't know. I'm stupid. But, you know. And then, of course, we have Rick, Glenn, Michonne, and Noah shows up and cuts off Tyrese's arm. And then we all know how... But we all know what happens with the escape mission and them getting into the car and stuff like that. And you really also just... It's just... That also shows how, as friends, they don't want him to die. They want him to survive as... You know? And... Oh god, my microphone fell. Give me a second, people. Sorry if you hear it, but... And also as... With Michonne adding more onto her after them trying to rescue Tyrese. You wonder now if after Tyrese's death... Now, don't get me wrong here. How Tyrese was like the moral compass of the group. You kind of wonder now who's going to be that moral compass, per se. Whether as Chad or... I completely forget people's names said. Let's say a person who played Tyrese, I said in Talking Dead. You would figure that maybe it would be spread out between everyone, hopefully, and they find a little bit of Tyrese within themselves. But for the most part, from how we're seeing it right now on the show, as the director said, probably most likely Michonne. And yeah, I could see where it's Michonne. Simple as that. Nothing really is too special. Because like I said, where she's tired and stuff like that. But then, back up a little bit before they save Tyrese, is just his... Let's put it the house of horror, room of horror, whatever. But as I said, Tyrese did act father figure. Noah, blah, 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 blah. Noah, he calms Noah down, talks him down, saying it's not the end, all that. And of course, Noah runs off to his house. Tyrese goes in first. Nothing seems to be wrong with it at first glance. Other than Noah's mom dead. And see, like I said, and then Tyrese, where he ends up exploring a house, so Noah's like trying to like cover up his mother, basically talk to her to... If you guys know what I'm trying to say. Tyrese ends up, of course, from the little brother. Or not the little brother, but one of the twin brothers bit. Don't you just love when that happens? No, but seriously. Which, in a way, with Tyrese getting bit, I'm shocked that it happened to him. Just because, it's like that shock factor. You wouldn't expect him to go right then and there. But at the same time as well, when you're in that house and when they showed that door with the walker underneath or whatever, you kind of knew it was coming. So that's basically all I gotta say. But what I find really good about Tyrese's death, and not saying death is good, it can be if you put it a certain way, but just the way Tyrese reacts to it, it's like, this is what made the episode more emotional than what it made it emotional as fuck. Even the freaking the cast members, I think Norman Reedus, which of course we all know, Daryl even called up the director and said, oh my fucking, well, they played the message I'm talking about, it's like, you did amazing, blah blah, stuff like that. But anyway, back to, like I said, with Tyrese being death in a good way, it's just like showing, here's what I'm gonna put it. We've never seen, as in the show before, as someone is bit or something, we've never seen anyone. We've never seen it that in death before, and it makes you think too, if, God forbid, I shouldn't say this, but if there's ever a zombie apocalypse in real life, hopefully there's not, because that would suck for me, suck for my family, suck for my fiance, suck for my kids. But anyway, I know I shouldn't say that low, but sorry babes for watching this, I didn't mean to say it that low, but it's just me rambling here thinking. Just with, why the fuck was I saying now? I lost my, but just with him sitting there dying, and you see the blood gushing out, and you see him sitting there, as he's dying, he's basically seeing the Terminus guy, which I believe his name was Martin. He sees the governor. He sees Lizzie and Lizzie's sister, Bob, and, well, Beth. And Beth is talking and singing, saying, it's alright, Tyrese, it'll be alright, you need to remember that, whatever. And here's the way I see it, too. The Martin, Terminus guy, and governor obviously represents hell, and Bob, Lizzie's sister, and Beth represents heaven, of course, from how I see it and how they explain on Talking Dead too. It makes sense because to me personally, because the governor, as they said, Tyrese, in a way, he was dying. It was his choice to go, basically, and as the people was talking to him, he was just like, it was his choice to go in which direction he wanted to go as he died. Whether he could have went down or with the governor and Martin, or go with Governor and Martin, or as the hell and go there as he was dying, or choose to go with Bob, Lizzie's sister, which I forget her name, sorry people, and Beth. Simple as that. Which it makes sense too, because you figured as the of course it'd be the fever talking, so his hallucinations, but you kind of make him, sit there and wonder what's happening exactly. You know what I'm trying to say? You sit there and it makes you think which way he's going to go. Like, you make him think. And this episode was like a mindfuck too, because he's like, oh, he's dying. No, he's not dying. Oh, he's dying. No, he's not dying. Just back and forth like that. It makes you really think, though. Even with the radio of him talking about, which we find out probably how the people right there in the town of Richmond, that little suburban neighborhood, or even whatever the radio, I'm assuming how it happened, because it most likely be bad people, and we heard probably how they died on the radio as a hallucination. Because as the radio was going, because his dad made him listen to radio, stuff like that. But Tyrese, in a way, remember what he heard and stuff like that, as well as... Really, what I find funny, too, is the radio voice was Rick, or Andrew Lincoln, who plays Rick. It was his British voice, or whatever, I think, so, but... This episode was a mindfuck. That's really all I gotta say, just Tyrese, and it's just... Honestly, it's just the way he was pulling, and the way it was just, what the fuck. Especially when the governor just formed into the walker, or Lizzie and... Well, I don't understand how they ended up doing that, where Lizzie and Lizzie's sister turned out to be Rick. It was just weird how it did it, but it was also a mindfuck and a half. And then, of course, when it comes to the... And now, after talking about this, it just comes to the funeral of course, Tyrese. And again, Tyrese is one. Then again, Oliver, she's my favorite character. But because some of the stuff they do is probably stuff I would actually do, to be honest. But not dying, of course. But you get my point. But now with Tyrese's death comes make you wonder now, how is Sasha going to be now that she basically lost everyone, family wise, and especially now that since Tyrese was her brother. It just makes you wonder. It really does. But if I honestly had to rate this episode. For action, let's say action-wise, there wasn't barely any action. I don't know, I like action and like these things, but with this episode, honestly, I have to... I don't know why. Maybe just because I'm biased and I'm a fan of the show, but I always give these high ratings, all because these shows are just... I don't even know. But overall, I have to give this a 5-star rating just because it's just this mindfuck episode, and it was just... It made you go more in depth with the characters and stuff like that. That's really all I gotta say, nothing much. But hopefully you guys enjoy me rambling on about this in this review about Talking Dead and Walking Dead, stuff like that, since, might as well bring the reviews back for at least this, if nothing else. And hopefully WB Fastlane will have it, stuff like that. There's something else. Oh yeah, and before I go, also gaming videos should be up tomorrow. For like I said, huge chunk of South Park will be missing. But if they're recording voice wise, I don't want to say video wise because I know the video wise is fucked up a little bit on on at least one of them that I know of. But if the voice sounds a little off, it's not because I have a new mic. It's because I honestly feel like my recording setup is shitting out on me. Like, completely shitting out on me. Just slowly shitting out on me. Because it fixed a little bit, then it acted up same way for, like, one of my WWE videos that I recorded. And then I had to go back and re-record one of the things I did on WWE for you guys for an episode. So, basically, the episode is one episode, but a two-part episode in one episode, basically. That makes sense at all. But, like I said, gaming videos should be up tomorrow. Well, actually later today, I should say, because I should have... But it's like only 4:30 in the morning right now, as I'm recording this. But, yeah, as I said, this episode of Walking Dead, mindfuck, probably one of the best episodes of the season by far. I give it a 5-star rating, and that's really all I gotta say. But, and I do want to see what becomes of the group. It really makes you keep you interested. But, yeah. Until next time, rockers, live free and rock.